What's going on, moms and dads? Welcome to another episode in our NFL preview series where we go division by division and try to identify the fadeable narratives, the ride teams, the fade teams, whatever else the dads are feeling heading into the 2022 NFL season. Whether you're listening or watching, make sure you are following our Twitter at FadeUSports. Make sure you're also subscribed to our YouTube page, our TikTok, and our podcast. And all those links can be found on our pinned tweet, which again is on Twitter at FadeUSports. Today we are previewing the NFC South. This is the sixth of our division previews, 6 out of 8. If you missed our other previews, including our AFC North with Ariel Epstein, make sure you check out those episodes either on YouTube or in podcast form. Also check out our full pod with Ariel from just a couple days ago, recapping the Super Contest weekend. That was a great, really fun episode to record with her. So, all right, boys, I just have Chris Duke, crutches and all, here on this preview for the NFC South. We may have debated a certain team while in Vegas, so we'll get to that shortly. And that Kmart is here as well. So, boys, the NFC South last year was as predictable. I mean, basically went according to script. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers 13-4, the Saints 9-8, Falcons somehow 7-10. That actually surprised me, and the Panthers 5-12. Now the win totals here for 2022: Tampa Bay 11.5, New Orleans 8.5, Carolina 6.5, and Atlanta way down at 5, one of the worst in the league. So let's start with the Bucs. Everybody knows by now that Brady retired, unretired. Maybe he got sick of his wife. Don't want to say anything bad about wives, but Tom is back. He just returned from his little hiatus. I actually heard he was in the Bahamas with the fam during a training camp, which is a little odd, but I guess if you're Brady, you can do whatever the fuck you want. I mean, everybody's going to pencil them in for the NFC South. Kyle, is there a chance that doesn't happen? Maybe this is the year it all finally goes crumbling around Brady. They have offensive linemen injured. It's a new coach. Could it be that this is it and it's going to end poorly for Tom?
Man, if I knew Joe wasn't joining us today, I think I would have had our other buddy Chase join this, because I was texting him the other day about the Bucks, and I'm just like, dude, 11.5, pencil that in, automatic under, and he's like, I can't do it. Like, I have saved a fortune by not betting against Tom Brady, and I'm like, I have still lost a fortune betting against him. Luckily, he got some of it back, not fading him in his last Super Bowl, but I can't see this team winning 12. Like, I think that's too much respect. I mean, they lost another key piece to their offensive line last week. Their offensive line already was looking depleted. I know they have great offensive weapons. Defense is still okay. I don't think it's what it was 2 years ago, because it clearly wasn't that last year, but I think they're going to have a problem, blocking, a rush coming in after Brady. And we know he doesn't like to get hit. Like, when he retired, I was like, yeah, it's probably because Aaron Donald was laying on top of him in that divisional round. Like, I've never seen him on his back so much. So, I mean, to me, it's an easy under. I can't believe it's 11.5. 10.5, maybe I would have hesitated a bit, but 11.5, I think I already kind of max bet a season win total on that one.
What do you think, Chris? Bucks under? I mean, I know you probably will.
Yeah, I did already bet it. I got sad that they said that it's kind of a popular bet, but like we say, popular bets win too. Unders, if unders are going to be popular, it's okay. I'd rather it be popular, on an under than an over. But like Kmart said, just a lot of questions. Missing their center. I know Tom loved that leader, that center last year. He'd go out and knock someone's block off for him, and so a lot of missing pieces, and it's going to be tough for him to 12 wins, man. 12 wins is a lot, and But the average Joe might say, well, like you said, Matt, they got 13 last year, right? They could do it again, right? Free money. So, but I'm on the under. Hopefully they win about 10 or 11, and it's not too much of a sweat coming down the stretch.
I assume the case to be made for the over is that the division is weak, right? It's the Saints without Peyton. It's the Falcons who are rebuilding. It's the Panthers who are kind of wayward and have yet another new quarterback. But I guess what you're going to need is these NFC South teams that have just been submitting to Tampa the last couple of years to be a little scrappy.
Well, I mean, the Saints have kind of owned Tampa.
That's true. The Saints have, yeah.
I will be shocked if they split that. I expect the Saints to go 2-0.
Again,
like that's the team in that division. You know, you mentioned it last week. You know, you sent the ticket 8.5 over, and I'm like, oh my god, like it's that low. Somehow it just passed because my father-in-law is a huge Saints fan, and just 2 weeks ago we were talking him up, and we both. I mean, it's no shocker for him, but you know, that team is going to be vastly improved. I mean, defensively, top 5. So, what I was just saying about Tampa Bay, New Orleans is going to be able to bring the heat, and I think it's going to be very difficult for them to beat them.
Well, yeah, let's transition into the Saints. So you started to kind of make the case for a much improved team. I would assume what a lot of people are going to think is, well, Sean Payton's gone. Dennis Allen coached before, and it was a disaster. They kind of were shitty to end last year. Jameis was hurt. They tried the Mo experience. Didn't work out. Tried Trevor Siemian. Of course, that's not going to work out. Kamara is injured towards the end of the season. Yeah, so they had to go with Ian Book one game. That was a disaster. So I'm assuming there's some kind of hindsight into how last season ended, and that's why people aren't expecting much from them, and the win total is only 8.5. What do you think, Chris?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Kyle. Finish.
I was just going to say, you know, I mean, for a team that, I mean, you just put it on a laundry list. They still were 9-8 against the spread, 9-8 overall, and yet 8.5 with their quarterback coming back, with Michael Thomas coming back. Offensively, they're going to be better, and defensively, I already made the case. They're already improved. So,
but Chris, you disagree. You think they are under. We were in Vegas, and I said Saints playoffs, and you said, "What the fuck are you talking about?" So, I mean, these aren't necessarily. I mean, they're pretty correlated, but they don't have to be. I mean, they could go over their win total and still miss the playoffs. But are you not believing in this team because of any of the reasons I mentioned a minute ago, or what is it about them that you think no playoffs?
Yeah, I just when it comes down to it, I love the man, but I'm just not going to put my faith in Mr. Winston when it's all said and done. You know,
sign me up.
You just never know. Is he going to go 30-30 again?
He's matured, dude. He's matured like we have. I mean, look how dumb we were when we were in our 20s. Yeah, eat some W's.
No, that and you mentioned the Peyton thing. We'll see how they react with the new coach. And I was just looking at their schedule. I told you, and you said good, and I like that too. You like to see a team that's, they're like, wow, 8.5. That's a tough schedule. They gotta. Obviously, we mentioned they play the Bucs twice later on in the season. Once Deshaun's back, they got to go on the road to Cleveland and on the road to Philly. Dome teams in December, January. It's going to be cold, baby. Put your mittens on, you little New Orleans team. So yeah, it's going to be it's going to be a battle. I think they play the entire NFC West, so they've got to go to Cardinals. That'll be a tough game. I think they've got to either host the Niners or go to San Francisco. They got to play the Rams. So they've got a lot of good teams they're going to be playing, and it's just going to be be a battle. So, but I like you to be right, just because I like to see someone knock off the Bucs.
Would be great, and I think it would be remiss to say the Saints are probably one of the few teams that do have a true home field advantage still. Kyle, would you agree with that? I mean, you could probably count on one hand the teams that actually still have a legit home field advantage in the NFL. But you'd have to think the Superdome has got to be one of those places.
Yeah, I've never been. I'd love to go, but everything I've heard is, apart from when Seattle was, causing earthquakes, this was kind of second. Just gets very loud, rocking and rolling. And I mean, why wouldn't you want to in New Orleans? So great atmosphere. One of my good friends, Jesus, has been there, and it just sounds like a lot of fun. And they're going to rally behind this team because they're going to be improved. They it was with Drew Brees, but they've had a lot of bad luck, the past handful of years too. So some of those guys, in that city just want to, get back to, the promised land.
Well, Chris and I do have a bet against each other. We bet a round of golf at Pachanga that I have Saints to make the playoffs. Sent the ticket number. Chris has not sent a ticket number yet, but I believe he is fading me on that. There might have been some beverages consumed before that bet. Yeah.
I was drunk. I thought so. It's playoffs, not it's not team total.
It's on the win total. I sent the win total anyway because I mean, for them to make the playoffs, they're going to have to go over the win total. Yeah. But yeah, you if you want to fade me on that, you can just send no playoffs, and I think you
just for fun.
I think you have to lay a little juice. I think it was -120 on the no. I think we'll double check. But that's the bet. Round of golf. Saints playoffs or no playoffs. Well, I know the rest of these two other teams, these are going to be, I know Chris Duke's little poop radar is going to perk up here because these are projected to be two very weak teams. Let's do Panthers first. We'll just go in order of win total. 6.5. I mean, Kyle, do you want to lay Sam Darnold to rest? Is that what we want to do here right now?
Man, that's tough.
He's a great character guy.
Yeah, but I mean, as soon as they made that trade, I knew unless Baker broke his leg or something, he was going to be the starter because I don't think you can start Darnold just with what he's shown in the league, having Baker behind him. I think he'd play even worse. And he can play at this level a little bit. I know the competition the first 5 weeks last year was rough, but I mean, he was, fantasy top 5, and I'm all excited, talking to you guys. Oh, come on, this is what we thought. But yeah, it's kind of a shame. He got a new start, but just got injured early on. Couldn't really keep it up. Got benched. It's I don't know, but over 6.5. I mean, I have respect for Baker. I mean, he's put his body through hell. Still walks out there. It's just Panthers really didn't do much in the offseason. They signed a punter. They let Hassan Reddick walk. They did sign, what is his name, Xavier Woods. They did draft a guy in the offensive line as well as pick up another one in the free agency. So they're trying to pass protect, but it all comes down to, is CMC going to get injured again? Is he injury prone, or is he going to be able to finally stay healthy? And that's the ticket. If he plays 16, 17 games, they probably go over. If he plays 10 again or less, it's just probably not going to happen. So it's probably just a stay away on a total for me because it's literally predicated on one guy.
His girlfriend's a swimsuit model. You'd think he'd be well taken care of. Like, come on, man.
He's probably faking it so he can stay at home and watch her change.
Jeez. This is a weird one. I mean, I feel like people are really down on this coach. I have no idea what to make of the Panthers, Chris. I mean, all we know is that they're going to probably be poopy underdogs their fair share of games.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know a lot of people are talking about Matt Rowe being over his head here, coaching his first few years. And yeah, I was just going to mention, after Kmart said it's a stay away, I'm probably going to be looking more, I'd rather look towards week to week, finding good spots for them than risk it on that 6.5. Like you said, like, does Baker get hurt again? He's out there with a hurt shoulder all, the time with Cleveland, they sucked when he's hurt. And then you got, McCaffrey getting hurt all the time. So next thing you know, you're over 6.5. Everyone's dead. And, you throw the ticket out. I'd rather just take him as a home dog or something when someone big comes to town.
Love to see no Baker commercials this season. I'd be good with that. I think me and Lombardi is enough with the commercial. Why don't you have a winning season, you fuck? And then we can get you on TV. Okay, now the last one. If the Panthers were a little gross, then the Falcons are for sure the poopy team in this division. Chris, this is a win total of 5. Holy shit! Are they supposed to be bad or what?
I thought I saw 4.5 even.
I think our book has 4.5.
Yeah,
I mean,
saw
holy
4.5
shit.
too.
Yeah.
So is this, I mean, kind of the same thing? Is this where you're going to look to pick your spots where they're maybe really, really low, catching a ton of points on maybe an inflated line?
Well, like you said, they ended up squeaking out 7 last year, and they were in a lot of games. We saw that game at the Bucks when they were like down 3, and then Matt Ryan throws back to back pick 6 or some shit, and they don't cover. Fuck you, Matt Ryan, for that. I was on you that week. But like, is Mariota that much of a downfall? And then like, it's like, so if they're like, can they not get to 5? Like, if you can find a 4.5 out there, like, do you want to, like, can they not squeak out, a 5-12 year? I think they can, but again, with these low ones, with these season totals, if there's not a ton of value, if something's not extremely inflated or deflated, then sometimes it's a stay away and find value, week to week. They play tough. They tend to play tough in the division, so you want to look at them, against the Bucks, and they're going to be dogs a lot, so they're going to be catching points. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, 4.5. That's tough. Like 7 wins last year. Are we not giving enough respect to Matt Ryan? Like, I know, he's a little older, but was that a lot on him? But then, I mean, they were a gritty team. They were gutsy. They play very sound defense. They did pick up Casey Hayward, so they're going to have, decent corners. I believe their middle
Do they still have
linebackers,
Cordero?
Yeah.
Patterson.
He was a god last year for them.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're going to have weapons. I mean, you can't really judge things off the preseason, but Mariota, looked like he could still move, run around. They obviously have Drake London. They signed Brian Edwards. I don't know how big that's going to be. He was, pretty top prospect out of college. So change of scenery, who knows? Kyle Pitts. So, I mean, if I would definitely lean on the over here because defensively, I think they can bring it. And if their offensive line can just protect a little bit, that's I think what they're going to be their biggest weakness if I can learn English.
At least he'll be a little more mobile than Mr. Matty, right?
The schedule is a little tough. I mean, they're playing I guess, third place schedule. So they play this division plays the AFC North. So they've got Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, Browns. They also play the NFC West, which is going to have 3 probably good teams, and then Seattle. And then they've got the Chargers. That's their AFC West opponent. So, I mean, they do have Washington and Chicago. I mean, God, don't you think they have to at least at worst split with Carolina? So that's 1. So now you
come on,
4 more wins.
How many plus 10 dogs win outright every year? That easy teaser play that loses outright. So
Put them in every parlay.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna get wins. It's just, can they get to 5? So it'll be fun to watch.
Chris, who do they have week 1?
I think a team from New Orleans.
There you go.
New Orleans. Nice
they get them at
home dog.
Do we have a line on that? What is that? Probably a 4.5?
I saw 5, I think,
Dead
2
number.
weeks ago. Yeah.
If it comes in at 5, Chris Duke is 1,000,000% on him. 1,000,000%. I'll double S if Chris isn't on that week 1 if it's a 5.
Well, Chris, I do know Lance was staring hard at the Saints -5.
Wow.
And I was just like, no.
He loves it.
Can we stay away from that? No betting on our teams week 1.
Simply no way, right, Chris?
What's more disgusting, that one or the Seahawks?
Probably the Seahawks. Yeah.
Seahawks
Does that
for sure.
get any higher? I guess they're talking that it's going to get towards a little 6, maybe not towards 7, but creep up a little bit.
All right, guys, thanks for listening to our NFC South preview. We've got 2 left. We'll get those coming up probably next week before Labor Day. So we appreciate everybody listening and your support, and we will catch you next time.
Peace.
Peace.